ready.
Okay. Hello. This is my second ever writer's chat. So and we're very excited because we've had a lot of tech issues and it's finally working.
Yay!
Yay! So, writers' chats, in a nutshell, are basically informal chats. I wouldn't go so far as to use the word interview. What I'm going to do is, because I'm not currently part of an in-person writing group, and I'm just at the beginning of my writing journey, and I wanted to find other people who were also at the beginning of their writing journey. I mean, I'd love to chat with really established authors as well, because, you know, advice on how this whole craft works is always great, but it's nice to chat with other people who are just beginning to, they're in the trenches, you know, they're trying to make this work with life, everyday life as well. And so I'm chatting with Dina. So Dina is also known as DP Joynes, and you can find her on Twitter, and we'll give all the links afterwards. Dina has a book called Rising Saints High, and that is coming out very soon in February. Or it's already out.
February 1st. February 1st, yeah.
Depending on when you're listening to this, it could already be out.
Okay.
But you can pre-order it if it's not out yet. And I was intrigued when I saw Dina's bio because she's got a science background. She's got an electronics degree and a nursing degree. And I've got a science background too. I was a medical research scientist. And I just thought it was kind of funny that here's this other person who comes from the same world that I do, and we're writing about other world stuff with all kinds of things. So anyway, so I thought I'm going to have an informal chat with Dina. So what have you been finding the most challenging thing about getting the book up? And like this whole process, was it the writing that was the most challenging? Was it the editing, or was it the tech in getting the book up and out there, or is it the post-book marketing, just so people can actually know that there's this book to read?
Well, and this is probably a warning to anyone who is beginning like we are. You know, it's only about 5% writing. I would say another 5% editing, and the rest is all marketing, 90% marketing. I didn't know that. I had no idea. So once you sit down, start your book, finish your book, there is going to be a whole lot of marketing involved. So I think the next step, which I've learned to do, is besides integrate those 2 pages, is also take a few minutes every day to evaluate my marketing plan. And, you know, that might take some investment or it might not. It just depends on how you want to approach everything. And there's so many mistakes that can be made. There's so many mistakes, but I've learned from other authors that have, you know, crossed that boundary that they made a lot of mistakes too. So just go for it.
Yeah.
And I would say go ahead and start with the marketing the second you start your book, you know,
So
just
have you
doing
done
that
it?
research.
So what have you done? What kind of marketing things have you done to get the name of the book out?
Well, I had no idea about the relationship between books and Amazon and Twitter or Facebook. I didn't know any of these things. I didn't understand that Amazon was a search engine itself. And so you have to learn how to use keywords and how to present your book. It really comes down to a quality project. You know, you have to put something of quality out there. So you also have to be open to criticism, which is why I joined an in-person group. So you're not just, when I say marketing, it's not just going out, making ads, trying to get people pointed in the direction of where your book is located, but it's also making sure you have a quality product, you know. I mean, I'm sure, you know, if you have Kindle Unlimited, which I highly suggest, you know, you can read all kinds of things, and there's a lot of amazing books out there, but there's a lot of bad books out there. So, you know, and they're, you know, so you have to go out and you have to see what's available.
Yeah.
So you do your own research.
Yeah.
See how they're doing.
I've read a couple of books. When I first decided last year, like, okay, I'm going to write again, and I started reading, and I read a couple of books, and it's like, oh, okay, gee, is this a thing? Like not finishing the story, and and it was just really interesting. And, you know, you'd look and you'd think, wow, they've got heaps of followers and got some good reviews, but it's not a story. And so...
And that's what I'm learning.
Things. And then you read some really good stuff and you think, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So you've got to read widely and make the time for reading, and that's something else.
Yes, that's something else we got to add to the list, right? But, you know, with our kids, though, I think if they see us doing it, I don't know if I mentioned it this time around, but, you know, my daughter wants to be an author, so I think if they see us doing these things, you know, we can at least rest with the satisfaction of, as parents, that they see us doing these things, then when it's their time to fulfill their dreams, that they'll be dedicated to it too. So finding that time to read, that's important. I mean, that's part of their homework, you know?
Yeah, make them book addicts young.
Yeah.
That's what I've tried to do. All right, so what's been your most fun part so far with this journey? Since you started writing and you decided, yep, I'm going to go for it this time, I'm going to publish this book.
Yeah, the most fun part is becoming invested in my characters. I love them to death. I can't wait to write more and create more characters. So I started my second book because my first one is done. And so I'm a little bit more than halfway through my second book, and I fall in love with them over and over again. I think that's the most fun part, is being able to connect with fictional characters, and you reconnect with the people you've had in your life, the people you have in your life, because you sometimes put some elements of what you love about them in there, and you can put that in your book. So that's the most fun part of the process, I think.
Yeah. Oh, cool. And what about leading up to the launch now? So are you going to do a launch party, or
I'm not necessarily... Yeah, I'm not necessarily doing a launch party. What I've come to find out is that you really should start with what's called a soft release, is the term, soft release. So you go ahead and put your book out there. You know, I think a launch party is good for authors who have had many books out and they already have a fan base. So a soft release is better for new authors like us, where we put the book out there, and then you try and get reviews. You really should give some of your books away for free, and then just try and build a little bit of an audience. And then later on, maybe a few months later down the road, when you have those reviews intact, when you do have a handful of fans at least that can support what your reviews are saying, then you have a launch party where, you know, you go ahead and do a little bit more aggressive marketing and promotion.
When I released our cookbook, for my cooking show, I had a party for that, but it wasn't to get sales. It was to... I've written the book. I've been wanting to do this for years, and I finally got a print copy of my book. And all the people who'd heard me talk about the book and the project and the show for so long, and it was just it's a bit like a graduation, because otherwise you're writing, and, you know, especially because it's so solitary, I find. You're writing. It's a bit anticlimactic. It makes me think when I passed up my honours thesis, you know, there were 6 of us, and we all wrote and stayed up late, and then I had to take another day because I had tech issues from hell. It was probably a sign. Here we are again. But yeah, and you know, and you go and you pass up that book and you submit it to all the proper places, and then everybody says okay, and that was it. You're by yourself. It was very anticlimactic. Whereas when you do your degree, you know, you have the official graduation. You're all there after the exam. What did you put for that question? Oh my goodness, you know. And so, I think for me that was why I had the party. It wasn't to get, you know, massive sales. I just had the friends.
But that's a great idea. But it's a great idea. Yeah, it's a great idea because it is an accomplishment. And you know, for me, I would say my launch party was really handing it over to my 13-year-old and hearing her go, ooh, ah, ooh. And then, you know, that was our party, and that really excited me. So you do, if you're going to have if you're going to have a launch party, release party, go for it. Invite your friends, film it, put it on your web page, your author's page. That's what I would say. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I might have to do that.
Yeah, do like an
how we learn from each other.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think the family or something. Like my parents came and my sister, and I actually do a family calendar every year for Christmas. It's my gift to my family. And all our pictures through the year, and this year, one of the pictures is all the daughters and mum, because we don't often have photos of all of us, and from the launch party, and it's like, oh yeah, there's that little memory that it actually happened. I did it. And so so it's just a little bit of a thing, and I'll probably do something similar here, though I don't have many writer friends here in Adelaide, so it might have to be a virtual launch party. Do some call where we get multiple people on the line or something, and we all
well, there's a lot of authors that say a launch party is actually very effective. So I'm still learning. I have there's so much to learn still, so even if I wanted to do something like that, I'd have to really engage and really figure that out. An online one anyway, but I think a party, just celebration that you finish something, that's fantastic.
Talking about like learning stuff tech-wise, so what tech have you had to learn so far? You've created your website, you've done your social media pages. Did you format your book yourself?
I did format my book, and there's actually a lot of online resources available. There are actually several videos that show you step by step how to do it. I use Tom Corson Knowles.
Oh yeah, I did one of his courses.
Yeah, so that was free. It's I think it's over an hour and a half, and it took me 2 days. So I like to use two screens when I write, two computer screens when I write. So I had one. He's playing video on one screen, and I'd have to stop every 20 seconds and then do what he said I had to do. And, he might say, okay, do your header this way, but then I had to go through my 40 headers and fix every single one. So it took 2 days. It was pretty extensive. I committed 2 whole days to that. But there are other resources out there that can do that for you, So
yeah, I think though often when you're not making money from something and it's part-time endeavour, you need to. People tend to do more and more themselves, and especially nowadays because there's so many things available that you can get a good quality product doing yourself. The thing is, it just takes so much more time, and that can become a bit of a procrastination as well. I find, like figuring out this on the website, and you think in the end, do I really need that? So I've got a kitten, and he sounds like he's up to mischief over there. I should get him and introduce him to. He's very cool. Well, anyway, so what is next for you? So when are you hoping to have your next book out?
I hope to have Hella is the name of my next character. She's coming out at the end of March. She'll be a novella, so I plan to have novellas in between the series, and you won't have to read the series to read Hella, but if you do read the series, I think you'll be ecstatic to see some of the elements that are at the high school within the book. So I'm excited about her. I'm working with her too, and I've actually started the second series of the book as well, because I like everything to be a little bit intertwined. So sticking with my timeline actually takes a lot of work. Not just writing.
How do you keep all that in your head? Because I find I'm thinking about it all the day. I'm chatting with my husband. He's like, oh, yeah, okay, later.
Yeah, you have to take notes. Lots and lots and lots of notes. Yeah, see, this is like, lots of notes. But I plan to put all that digital-wise because the notes are piling up. They're just piling away. Yeah,
I've got a couple of tactics that I use. So last year I became addicted to my little diary planner. So like
there
that.
we go. Yeah, that's
And-
you have to take good notes. Yeah, that's how you do it.
And so I've got a tab which now is like for anything like fiction. But, you know, one tab is the cooking show stuff, one tab is my clinic because I'm a naturopath. And your alarm again. And
Did
the
you
others-
hear it? Did you hear it? You did? Oh my gosh, I can't stop it. I won't stop. Tell me about your notes. Tell me about your notes.
And so then in the writing tab, I'll just write notes in there about where I'm at with the story. And I've also got a little notebook which I keep in my handbag, which I write on. I've got, because I started out plotting, and then I ended up like you. I wrote 40,000 words, and then I wanted to change something. And then I went back to what was my first scene, and I just twisted one thing. Instead of one reaction, I gave the opposite reaction, because I was reading Twilight at the time, and I was thinking, you know, it's kind of cool, because I had read Twilight, I'd read Midnight Sun, which was Twilight from Edward's perspective, and I'd read the new one she brought out where she's flipped the characters, so Edward became the female and Bella became Beau, the human guy. And I was thinking, this is so cool. It's a bit like a Matrix action scene, you know, like you can see the whole thing from different angles. The cat's found a bowl.
I hear it jingling.
I have to go get
We have
him.
all kinds of alarms going off. This is if the world learns anything from us, they need to learn that this is what it's like to be a mom.
Those who are like, you know, stay focused to the end understand. But yeah, so I was doing that, and I'd restarted it, and I'd had all the different angles, and I just thought, what if I just twist this? Anyway, so by twisting that, it changed everything. And I wrote the rest of the scene, and then I wrote the next scene, and then I wrote more of it, and then I realised, hang on, that's not the beginning. I've got to write actually the beginning. That was the turning point, not the beginning. So I went back and wrote the beginning, and and it was just like, this is completely changed. And so instead of having a proper plot with this is chapter 1, in theory, I'd love to be that plotter, but I find that, you know, when I'm at this situation with the conflicts, it's like, well, if I just did this and this happens, then that plot doesn't work. I think it might have crashed on us again. Yeah.
I can see you
I thought
and
the
hear
computer
you.
crashed again. It's crashed like 3 times tonight. So.
Oh no.
So anyway, that's what I do. So instead of doing the plotting, I kind of have the overview of the story in my head. Like, this is who the people are. This is basically what's happening in their world. This is pretty much where I see it ending. And I'm going to write it and see if it's going to get there. So the first book became a very different book than the one I started to write. It's quite interesting to do it that way, but that's how I keep track of my plots.
Yeah. I learned that actually watching another video of a fantasy writer. I think her name is Hibbs. So she, that's her name, Hibbs, H.C. Hibbs. And so she had, I watched a few pointers from her about how to keep track of your fantasy world. And you need some notes. It's, you do.
And that's what you use your computer screen for. So you've got your notes on one screen. And
and when I'm, I'll be at the mall with the kids, and then I'm like, I have this brilliant idea. And then I'm sometimes, I actually type faster than I write, but when I can't text faster than I talk, so I use the voice recorder. And then I come home and make sure I put a note in there that has to go in there. So whatever works. I use my voice recorder. So
Dina, please tell me more about your first book. I want to hear about the story about the book. What inspired you, and how you came about writing this book?
The book is about Jonah. He's my protagonist. He's got 5 other friends. They're all nerds. They're all part of the same science club. And they're using their superpower, which is really science, to keep the world safe from demons and come across other things. So I'm super excited about it. My inspiration, I would say, has to come from my own kids, my own teenagers. I think I really started it because my oldest daughter, who's 13, she's an avid reader. She loves to read, and there wasn't really anything coming out that hurt her interest. She likes science too. So I just went for it. So tell me about your book. Because we need to learn from each other. You know, we need to inspire one another. We are what we have right now.
That's it. You're my writers group.
Yeah.
Okay, so my book is going to be called Familiar. That's my working title, so hopefully that stays. And basically it's about a girl who doesn't realise she's got special gifts. And so basically an event happens which triggers her magical powers, for want of a better word, and it's about her opening up. So I'm not really explaining it too well. There's vampires in there. I've recreated like a vampire witch mythology about how magic came. There's unicorns, there's dragons, not in that manifestation, but you know, that's what it's kind of about. Oh, I should bang the table. And the familiar is like a witch's familiar, is, you know, with animals and things like that, and so that's one aspect of the familiar in the story and how that plays out in this world. And I've set it here in Adelaide, so it's urban fantasy, and which is probably, I like where I live. And so I've always thought there should be a good vampire story set.
And that's the best part about writing fantasy is you get to incorporate the things you know and are familiar with and the things you love, excuse me, into things that only exist in here, you know, and you get to blend all these things together. I love fantasy so much. So, you know, just there's a part of us that can relate to other folks, and then in a way I'll be taking into your magical world, but I'll also get to visit where you live in reality, you know, in the real world. So, it's exciting.
Yeah, I've been taking photos, and because I think I'll share them sometimes on Instagram, or I'll put them on the blog, so that when, you know, I release the book, it's like, okay, this is what I was visualising when I wrote this scene. And like here we've got our botanical gardens, and they've got these beautiful old wrought iron gates with concrete, is it plinths? You know, the bit the gate attaches to. And every time I look at that, it's like, it's very gothic to me, and it's like, how can you not look at that and think of vampires?
Yeah. Yes.
So like,
that's part of that research. Yeah, that's part of that research that keeps you motivated, you know, that's going to force you to sit down and do those pages. Yeah.
So where's your book set? Is that, so have you used a location where you live in New York, or?
No, it is an urban fantasy, of course. It's high school. Yeah. But I didn't actually name my town, and I think the reason is because I want any high schooler to be able to feel like that school belongs to them, that that's their school. And part of that is also, I want, you know, when my daughter reads the book, I want her to feel empowered. So there should be things, I think, in a high school setting that everyone should be able to recognize, no matter where you're from. Yeah. So I kept it very simple in that way. I mean, of course, there's the saints, so there's definitely some religious references in there, but it's angels and demons. You know, yeah. So that should be a lot of fun, I hope.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, well, thank you very much. So would you like to just tell us where we can find you? Like, where are you online, your website?
Oh, yes.
Social media stuff. Yeah. And one more, you know, plug for your book, when it's coming out, and what to look out for. Alrighty? Let us know.
All right. So I'm DP Joynes. That's DPJoynes.net. And you can find me on Amazon. You can find Rising Saints High, Go of the Gods on Amazon, or you can follow me on Twitter at DP Joynes, Facebook at DP Joynes. And I hope you check it out, and I hope you enjoy it too. And please, I have all kinds of ways of contacting me, so if you have anything to say, just let me know. Yeah,
all right, well,
and I'll
we will
respond.
chat again after your book is out to see how it's all
Yeah.
going and how book 2 is
All
going.
right. Yeah,
And we'll chat anyway.
it's a steep learning curve, so we need to help each other because, we're all we've got. Yeah.
I totally agree. Okay,
All
lovely
right.
chatting with you, Dina. Bye.
Thank you, Lisa. Bye-bye.